So let's welcome Vanessa to the program. And Vanessa, you've got a bit more on Donald Trump.
Yes, I just wanted to cover the rather dramatic events. I'm not going to go into huge details about what I consider to be the huge anomalies in the entire narrative. But I just wanted to point out, the idea that this might be either a structural deep event, and we can see the definition of that from the wiki slide, if possible. Which is basically, it's effectively deep state creating an environment in which the political landscape or enormous changes to society can be brought about. You then also, of course, have the state crime against democracy, which is the current state carrying out a crime in order to bring about certain events. So I would recommend watching Kevin Ryan, Genocide and Empire, Identifying Structural Deep Events and State Crimes Against Democracy in Real Time to better understand how this might tie in with what has just happened in the United States. Now, two of the main reasons that I consider that this could have been some kind of orchestrated event is the speed with which Trump paraphernalia appeared on market stalls and on social media and across the board following the alleged attempted assassination, including T-shirts, posters, etc. And the in unison, very jingoistic, emotional messaging being put out by certain high-level social media commentators and media people, including Tucker Carlson and Scott Ritter. And then these kind of videos that suddenly also appeared promoting Trump as some kind of cult figure and very much appealing to the Christian Zionist and the Christian market in the United States, depicting him as having been saved by God from death. So let's just have a quick look or dip into one of these videos.
I'm going to look you in the eyes and I'm going to tell you the future. It's an American story, and that's why Americans are going to love it. People are going to build you up. God, are they going to? Because when you're great and new, we love you. Man, we'll build you into something that doesn't even exist. You're going to change the fucking world. But you know what? Once they've built you as high as they possibly can, they're going to tear you back down. It's the most predictable pattern. We build you into something that doesn't exist, and that means you have to try to be that thing.
I'm not sure if I recommend watching the full video, but anyway, that gives you some idea of the messaging that's now really permeating social media and media, certainly center and right. And all of the, what I call the America First crowd are now absolutely on fire. As I said, very jingoistic messaging. Donald Trump is going to end all wars. Donald Trump is going to prevent the escalation of nuclear war with Russia. But there's almost complete silence on what Donald Trump might actually do to prevent the ongoing genocide in Gaza. That suddenly seems to have completely dropped off the radar for many of these commentators, although they're pushing back on that commentary and observation from some of us. So I want to now just have a quick look at who Donald Trump is, what his previous administration achieved or didn't achieve in the Middle East. So first of all, Donald Trump is a Zionist fan. He's been given more than 1 million by AIPAC, by the pro-Israel lobby. If we look at Trump's messaging, particularly towards Israel and the Middle East, of course, he said very clearly we should have kept the oil in Iraq, so no condemnation there of the US policy to invade Iraq. And then a very quick video showing him explaining why he was keeping US military in Syria.
Okay, so we want to worry about our things. We're keeping the oil. We have the oil. The oil is secure. We left troops behind only for the oil.
So we left troops behind only for the oil, not to fight ISIS, of course, which is what the general pretext for the United States military footprint inside Syria, occupying Syrian resources in the northeast. He then went on to say, after 52 years, it's time for the United States to fully recognize Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights, which is of critical strategic and security importance to the state of Israel and regional stability. Of course, Israel takes 30% of its water resources from the occupied Golan Heights, which of course is Syrian territory. Message from Faraz Shahabi there, basically saying you will never have stability in the region while you allow Israel to occupy our territory and to cause exodus from our territory. He then recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital and ordered the US embassy to move. And in fact, Netanyahu even called for the new Golan settlement named after Trump. He also brought in, under his administration, the Abraham Accords, claiming that it was the dawn of a new Middle East. He celebrated the Abraham Accords with White House signing ceremony. Of course, the Abraham Accords is recognized by the majority of the Palestinian nationalist movements as being a complete betrayal of their movement. And to a degree, of course, it's bringing in the success of the Greater Israel Project by aligning Israel with particularly the Gulf states and Egypt. And then let's have a look at a recent video from Trump where he's actually pushing for Israel to go harder in Gaza.
So, number one, they have to finish the job. Israel has to finish that job. They have to finish it quickly, strongly, and they have to get back to life again because it's taking too long. They have to finish the job.
You're saying go in, win, and finish.
Gotta win. Gotta win. Israel, they don't have the backing that they once had.
You'll give it to them.
Yeah, I'm good. But they don't have the backing. Even Schumer has become like a Palestinian. Chuck Schumer, Jewish, always strong for Israel. He's become like a Palestinian.
I mean, quite incredible that there is no mention, as I said, of the Israeli genocide of Palestinians in Gaza and in the occupied territories. And also the use of the term Palestinian as a racist, disparaging label. And he does it again in the debate with Biden, if we just quickly roll that.
Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
So they should finish the job. One assumes that means the full ethnic cleansing of Gaza and Palestinian territory. Then let's have a look at J.D. Vance. Trump has selected him as running mate after a last-minute push from his son. So let's have a look at J.D. Vance, again, backed by the Zionists and by AIPAC, 167,000 there. In, I think that's 2022, J.D. Vance, I will be a strong advocate for Israel in the Senate. And then let's have a look at Vance's messaging almost immediately regarding Iran. So if we roll the video.
A lot of people recognize that we need to do something with Iran, but not these weak little bombing runs. If you're going to punch the Iranians, you punch them hard, and that's what he did when he took out Soleimani.
Of course, Soleimani, the commander of the IRGC who defeated ISIS in Iraq and Syria, effectively was assassinated by Trump. And then let's have a look at what Vance has to say about the Abraham Accords that I mentioned.
Maybe the most important diplomatic breakthrough of the Trump administration was the Abraham Accords. If you want to check Iran, the way to do it is to, one, withdraw their oil money, which of course Joe Biden's been bad about, but you've also got to enable the Israelis and the Sunni Arab states to work together and actually provide a counterbalance to Iran. Joe Biden has done nothing. You have the infrastructure there, sitting there to weaken Iran, to strengthen our ally Israel. Joe Biden's done nothing with it. Donald Trump would reinvigorate it.
I think one
So I don't know about you, but I understand this as very clear messaging that the destruction of the Middle East is part of Trump's policy, finally, with a war with Iran. And I think it's also important to look at the Christian Zionist element and the Zionist element within Trump's administration and following. And I do recommend that everybody re-watches if they have already seen it, and watches again if they haven't, or watches if they haven't. Dark Crusade, a look at the origins of Christian Zionists with Clifford Kiracofe, an interview that you did, Mike. But I think, all of these so-called America First promoters that are on social media now and in the media claiming that Trump is going to put America first. I actually remember in 2021 when everybody was saying, oh my God, we have to have something better than Trump. And so they voted in Biden. Now we have, oh my God, we have to have something better than Biden. So we'll bring back in Trump. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, goldfish politics as far as I can see, keeps going round in the same cycle. But I think the dangers are with Trump and his administration is that we're going to see a ramping up of support for Israel and for the Zionist agenda and hegemony in the region, which will mean the destruction of Palestine, potentially Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and eventually Iran. So while the America First crew are claiming that Trump is better because he will prevent a nuclear war with Russia, they are effectively ignoring the potential threat for West Asia. And of course, America First for me means Israel first. That's the end of it. And it's no different with Biden to Trump. Oh, can't hear you.
Two sides of the same coin. And okay, Trump is saying we need to end the war in Ukraine. Russia's not really the target. But he is absolutely focused on China. He wants to take that argument into the South China Sea. And into Iran. So Iran has been on the US hit list for so many years now, and that hasn't changed. And Trump is not a peacemaker, and that's the key point here. And for the people that are, fighting or at least arguing against the Ukraine war, but are claiming support for Trump, this is missing the point, I think. Well, we could talk about a little bit more about that in extra. So thank you for that, Vanessa.